There comes a moment in the life of the chosen one when the world around grows silent and a deeper call begins to stir within. It is not a voice from the mountains or the skies, but a quiet command rising from the core of your being. Prepare yourself, for the time has come to meet with God. This meeting is not a journey of distance, but a passage inward. The battlefield is not out there, it is within your own mind, body, and spirit. In this teaching, I will guide you through the path that few speak of. You will discover why silence is more than the absence of noise, why breath is the sacred bridge between the human and the divine, and why discipline is not punishment but liberation. These lessons are drawn from the ancient Shaolin tradition, where monks trained not only for strength of the body but for clarity of the soul. Their wisdom reveals that the fiercest enemies are not the armies outside, but the restless thoughts, the cravings, and the fears inside. Many speak of meeting God as a distant vision, something that may happen one day. But I tell you, it is not tomorrow, it is now. Every step you take, every breath you draw, every moment of awareness can open the gate. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the path, you will feel its presence unfolding in your daily life. Stay with me until the very end, because the key to your next mission waits in the final words. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a place where ancient wisdom meets living spirit. If you wish to walk this path with us, I invite you to subscribe and continue this journey together. Before a monk lifts his hand to strike, before he takes a single step into combat, there is preparation, not of weapons, not of armor, but of the self. The Shaolin way has always taught, discipline comes before action. Without discipline, strength is reckless. Without discipline, even the search for God becomes clouded with noise and distraction. In the temple, a young disciple may wish to display his skill quickly, to prove himself before the eyes of others. But the masters would remind him, speed without balance is danger, and force without clarity is waste. Days, weeks, even years were spent not in outward display, but in silent training, rising before the sun, breathing in rhythm with the morning air, sweeping the same courtyard stones until the mind grew still. Only when the body obeyed and the thoughts softened could the true practice begin. This way of preparation is not different when you set out to meet with God. Many believe elaborate rituals or grand offerings open the path, but the monks knew no temple built by hands can contain what is eternal. The true temple is within. To prepare yourself is to master your restlessness, to tame the hunger for recognition, to quiet the storm of endless thought. Think of it like sharpening a blade. A sword left dull will not cut, no matter how fiercely it is swung. The chosen one too must be sharpened, through breath, through discipline, through restraint. Readiness for divine connection is not found in chanting louder or bowing longer. It is found in the stillness of a disciplined heart, a mind steady as a mountain, a spirit clear as water. When these are aligned, the gate to the divine opens of itself. There was a time in the Shaolin temple when silence was not a choice but a discipline. Young disciples would rise before dawn and pass entire mornings without a word. At first, the silence pressed upon them like a heavy stone, and many felt the urge to break it with chatter or restless movement. But the masters knew, until the noise within is calmed, the voice of the eternal cannot be heard. Silence is not emptiness. It is not the absence of sound but the presence of clarity. In silence, every thought reveals itself. Every hidden fear rises. Every restless desire comes forward. This is why many run from it. Yet it is precisely here that the path begins. To sit in silence is to step into the sacred chamber where the whispers of the divine become audible. The ancient way teaches that stillness is not weakness. It is strength refined. Just as a lake reflects the sky only when its surface is calm, the mind reflects truth only when undisturbed. Restless waters scatter light. Restless thoughts scatter spirit. But when the waters of the mind are still, even the faintest reflection of heaven becomes visible. Silence also sharpens discipline. To resist the urge to fill the air with words is to learn mastery over impulse. The chosen one who seeks to meet with God must first master the tongue. For words are powerful tools but also dangerous weapons. In silence the tongue rests, the breath deepens, and the heart steadies. When the body is quiet and the mind unhurried, a space opens. In that space, the divine does not shout, it whispers. And only in silence can those whispers be heard, guiding the chosen one closer to the presence they seek. In the Shaolin halls, breath was never taken for granted. The masters would say, a man who controls his breath controls his spirit. To them, breathing was not a simple act of survival, but the sacred bridge that joins the body to the soul, earth to heaven, the visible to the unseen. A disciple learning his first forms might be corrected not for his stance or strike, but for his breath. Too shallow, and the movement lost power. Too rushed, and the body grew weak. Only when the breath flowed steady and deep did the body and mind find harmony. In this way, even the fiercest combat became a form of prayer, each inhale drawing strength from the earth, each exhale releasing burdens into the heavens. Breath is the oldest rhythm you carry. Before words, before thoughts, there was breath. It moves without command, yet when you bring awareness to it, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The Shaolin way teaches that conscious breathing is the key to aligning the scattered parts of the self. When breath is steady, the heart slows. When the heart slows, the mind clears. When the mind clears, the spirit rises. The chosen one who seeks to meet with God must learn this rhythm, not the hurried breathing of fear, nor the shallow breathing of distraction, but the deep, measured flow that unites inner and outer worlds. With each inhale, the body gathers life. With each exhale, the soul lets go of weight. Over time, this practice becomes a ladder invisible to the eye, but strong enough to lift the spirit. Through breath, the human stands between earth and heaven, rooted below, yet reaching above, and it is on this sacred bridge that the divine presence draws near. In the quiet courtyards of the Shaolin temple, the young disciples would watch the masters move with precision and purpose. Every action was deliberate, every step measured. Nothing was wasted. The masters would often say, a mind scattered by desire is like water poured over sand. It cannot hold shape. It cannot carry weight. Desire is not evil, but when left unchecked, it becomes a cloud that blurs vision, a chain that binds the spirit. The Shaolin path teaches that strength without control is weakness. A warrior may have skill in his hands, yet if the heart is pulled by craving, fear, or attachment, that skill becomes unreliable. The same is true for those who seek God. The soul cannot reach clarity while weighed down by distraction. Each longing, each impulse draws energy away from the path inward. Discipline is the antidote. It is not punishment, but liberation. To rise before dawn, to sit through hours of meditation, to repeat forms without complaint. These are not tasks to impress others. They are exercises in mastery over self, small victories over desire. With each act of restraint, the spirit grows lighter, the mind sharper, and the heart steadier. The chosen one must learn to recognize desire without surrendering to it. Thoughts of wealth, recognition, or fleeting pleasure are like wind against a flame. Discipline shelters the flame, allowing it to burn steady and bright. In this steadiness, the path to the divine becomes visible. To meet with God, one must cultivate focus above craving, presence above longing. In this sacred balance, the heart is neither hungry nor restless. It rests in the still center where clarity dwells, where preparation turns into readiness, and where the chosen one stands ready to receive the eternal. In the early hours of the temple, the monks moved as if the world itself were a mirror of their inner state. Each step upon the stone floor, each sweep of the courtyard, each gesture was carried out with attention so precise it seemed to breathe with life. The masters taught that no action is too small to be sacred. Even the simplest task, when performed with awareness, becomes a doorway to the divine. Mindful action is the heart of inner mastery. When eating, one notices the texture, the warmth, the gratitude that arises with each bite. When speaking, one listens first, allowing words to carry clarity rather than impulse. When walking, each footfall touches the earth as if honoring the ground beneath. Even in silence, there is motion, the subtle shifting of breath, the steady rhythm of the heart. In all these moments, the chosen one is training the spirit to be present, to recognize the sacred in the ordinary. This is the deeper path to meeting God. It is not found only in grand rituals or elaborate prayers. It is discovered in the fullness of attention to life itself. Every act becomes a form of devotion. The Shaolin masters understood that the divine does not dwell only in meditation halls. It moves in the sweep of the broom, the lift of a bowl, the careful placement of a foot on the path. Through mindful action, distractions lose their grip. The restless mind quiets. Each deliberate movement reinforces discipline, sharpens awareness, and strengthens the connection between body and spirit. Step by step, gesture by gesture, the chosen one transforms daily life into living prayer. In this continuous flow of presence, every moment becomes an opportunity to touch the sacred, to feel the nearness of God in every breath, every thought, and every movement. Within the walls of the Shaolin temple, the young disciples often confronted shadows no one else could see. These were not the shadows cast by the sun, but the shadows of the mind, fear, anger, pride, and doubt. The masters would watch silently, knowing that the fiercest battles are not fought with fists, but within the heart. A warrior may strike enemies outside, but if the spirit is captive to inner demons, no victory is complete. The chosen one who seeks God must first recognize these hidden forces. Fear whispers that you are unworthy. Anger convinces you that the world must bend to your will. Ego tells you that the divine is something to command, not to serve. Each of these is a wall between the self and the eternal, subtle yet unyielding. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the path to mastery begins with facing these walls honestly without denial or distraction. Discipline is the weapon, awareness the shield. Through meditation, breath, and reflection, the mind learns to observe rather than react. Each encounter with an inner demon is an opportunity to practice restraint, humility, and clarity. The heart becomes stronger not by suppressing fear or anger, but by meeting them with calm and understanding. Over time, the chosen one discovers that the demons lose their power when faced without judgment, and the spirit grows lighter with every surrender of pride. This inner battle is not easy, nor is it swift, yet it is essential. God cannot be met while the soul is restless, chained to unresolved emotions, or blinded by ego. By walking through the fires of the self, by confronting what lies beneath the surface, the chosen one clears the way for divine presence. Only after these trials does the heart become a vessel capable of holding sacred light, a spirit refined enough to stand before the eternal without fear. In the quiet of the temple garden, a novice once asked the master why, despite all his training, he still felt restless and incomplete. The master led him to a flowing river and said, "See how the water moves around rocks, around fallen branches, never struggling to dominate, yet it reaches the ocean without fail." The lesson was simple, yet profound. Mastery is not control over all things, but the courage to surrender to what cannot be held. Surrender is often misunderstood as weakness. In the Shaolin tradition, it is the opposite. True strength lies in knowing the limits of the self and releasing the illusion of control, to cling to outcomes, to grasp at power, to demand that life bend to desire. These bind the spirit and blur the path to the divine. Courage to surrender does not mean giving up effort. It means directing effort wisely while letting go of attachment to results. The chosen one who seeks to meet God must learn this dance of release. Each attempt to force life into certainty tightens the mind, clouds perception, and separates the heart from stillness. But when the grip loosens, when pride, fear, and expectation are set aside, a new clarity emerges. The soul becomes receptive, sensitive to guidance, attuned to rhythms beyond the self. Shaolin masters speak of surrender as a form of bravery. It takes courage to step into the unknown, to trust the unseen, to allow life and spirit to unfold naturally. In surrender, there is alignment. The body, mind, and heart no longer resist the flow of existence. Each breath becomes lighter, each step steadier, and the path toward the divine opens. To meet with God, the chosen one must stand not in defiance, but in openness. Courage and surrender are not opposites, they are companions. Only when the self is willing to release its hold can the eternal enter fully and the spirit rise unbound. In the training halls of Shaolin, a young monk once struggled to master the forms. His movements were fierce, precise, yet something felt incomplete. The master observed him silently and then whispered, "Strength without softness is like iron without water. It may endure, but it cannot grow." The lesson was clear. True mastery blends firmness with gentleness, power with compassion. Shaolin wisdom teaches that strength alone can dominate, but it cannot heal. Compassion alone can nurture, but without firmness, it can be scattered. The chosen one seeking God must learn to hold both in harmony. In life, firmness shapes decisions and guides action. Compassion ensures that every choice honors the dignity of others and the truth within. One without the other creates imbalance, either harshness or weakness, neither of which opens the heart to the divine. Consider the art of the martial form itself. A strike is delivered with power, yet the flow of the movement is soft and controlled. The body resists rigidity while embodying force. The mind remains alert yet calm. The heart feels deeply yet does not cling. In this interplay, the disciple learns the secret of divine alignment. Life requires both courage to act and tenderness to understand. The chosen one must carry this principle beyond the temple. In moments of challenge, firmness protects values. In moments of interaction, compassion bridges hearts. Strength becomes a shield, compassion a light. By balancing these qualities, the spirit becomes flexible yet unwavering, capable of facing trials without breaking and of giving without losing self. Meeting with God is not only a matter of devotion, it is the embodiment of harmony. Strength guides the path, compassion shapes the journey, and together they form the vessel in which divine presence can dwell. Only in this balance does mastery extend beyond technique into true spiritual alignment. In the quiet dawn, the monks would walk through the temple grounds with steps so measured that even the rustle of leaves seemed to pause in respect. Every motion, every breath, every glance was treated as sacred. The master would remind them, "Your body is the temple, your mind is the altar. Where attention flows, the divine will appear." Here the practice of life and the practice of spirit were inseparable. Walking as a living temple is more than ritual, it is awareness made tangible. Each step becomes an act of reverence, each gesture a prayer without words. The Shaolin way teaches that mastery is not confined to meditation halls or sacred texts. It is carried into every motion, every task, every encounter. When the body moves with intention and the mind remains present, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. The chosen one who seeks to meet God learns that the temple is not built from stone or incense. It is forged in discipline, patience, and presence. Anger is tempered, restlessness calmed, and every thought weighed with care. Eating, walking, speaking, and even sitting become acts of devotion. Life itself becomes the practice. This practice trains the spirit to recognize the sacred in all things. A fallen leaf, a quiet stream, the rhythm of breath, each is a reflection of divine order. The more consciously one lives, the more the world becomes a mirror of inner clarity. Mastery is no longer about perfection in skill alone, but about harmonizing body, mind, and spirit so that the divine can be met in every moment. To walk as a living temple is to live without separation between the sacred and the mundane. Every action carries the awareness of God, and every moment becomes an opportunity to serve, to honor, and to witness the eternal within. In this constant presence, the chosen one's life itself becomes a vessel of divine light. The path to meeting God is not a single moment, nor a distant goal to be reached once and forgotten. It is a continuous practice, a daily alignment of mind, body, and spirit. Through silence, the chosen one learns to hear the whispers of the divine. Through conscious breath, the body and soul find harmony. Through discipline, desire is tempered and focus is strengthened. Through surrender, the heart releases what it cannot control. Through mindful action, every step, every gesture, every thought becomes sacred. In embracing these practices, the chosen one transforms into a living bridge between heaven and earth. Life itself becomes the temple, and every moment becomes an opportunity to encounter the eternal. The divine is not distant, it is present in the stillness, in the flow of breath, in the balance of strength and compassion, and in the awareness carried into every action. Take these lessons into your daily life. Begin with small steps, a few quiet minutes of stillness, a breath held with awareness, a deliberate act performed with care. Let your practice grow naturally as a river flows steadily toward the sea. With patience and persistence, the sacred becomes woven into the fabric of your existence. May your journey be calm, purposeful, and filled with insight. May you walk each day as a living temple, ready to meet the divine in all that surrounds you. If this teaching has guided your spirit, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets living practice and the path to mastery unfolds with every moment.